Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm back with you on Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. Cheers. This is good. I just took my first sip before I turned the camera on. Mmm. 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 Folks, the video that I uploaded yesterday, that short one, is from last year when I was approached by Omaha Magazine for a feature on me. Omaha is magazine is one of those magazines that cities have, focused on culture, business, etc. And unlike the one on the wall, I'm really proud because that was a cover shot. I'm not on the cover of this one, but it has a nice. I was blown away by those graphics of my name. But a few pages article about my musical history here in Omaha. And when I did the photo shoot for the article, the Bill Sitzman, the photographer, asked if I would be willing to sit for a short video interview that would be an adjunct to the article. So that's what I shared with you yesterday. Some days when I feel like taking a break, I feel like I want to just have some kind of content up, so that's what I do. Next thing I want to do is I was part of this documentary called The United States of America, and it's been shown on PBS, the World Channel nationally, where these producers and directors, I think from Chicago, endeavored to make a documentary about the United States, but by featuring one person from each state. I forget how many states they've done so far, but they had a kind of not really a contest, but what it turns out was that they put out the word, and folks were referred to these filmmakers from each state as to who they ought to use to represent. And they contacted me and said I was one of the names that was floated to them to use in the documentary, and they asked me if I was interested, and if so, why me? Why would I be a good representative? Anyway, they chose me, and I'm going to ask for permission to share with you my segment. It's been shown on national television several times. States of America, and I represent Nebraska, and I talk very openly about the racism here. It needs to be dealt with. Anyway, I'm going to ask for permission to share that here on my channel here. So I got a package from Discus Music, 3 discs, but I'm just going to talk about one because this is fantastic. This goes on my best of the year. I've played this all the way through already several times. Cécile Brochet, 3D at Paris. This is wonderful. Wonderful. I was going to get the one sheet. But what we have here is Cecilia, I think I'm saying her name correctly, is primarily a violinist, but she also plays, she's also the composer, and she provides soundtracks, field recordings of Paris, with 2 other folks, one on piano, Russ Lossing, who I'd never heard of, but he's really noticeably tasteful on here. I really enjoy his phrasing and his colors, and then Satoshi Takaishi on drums and percussion. This is wonderful. This is definitely goes on my album of the year list. One of the albums of the year list. It incorporates elements of classical, folk melody, jazz, improvisation, and music concrete with the recordings of sounds, street sounds and sounds of daily life in Paris in particular. It's wonderful. Her violin style is noticeable. She has a style that I'd like to hear more of her. A name that maybe some of you all don't know, but I grew up with, was a violinist named John Frigo. My dad liked him and had his records. Her playing style reminds me of somewhere between Stefan Grappelli and this cat named John Frigo. How do I describe it? You hear her personality in the way she moves from notes to notes. And there's a swing to it when she's doing certain phrasing. Frankly, I was knocked out by this. I really like discus music in general. This stands out. The newest Das Rad album also, to me, is like, discus music is on it. This is like their best one yet. I've mentioned it. There's a part of it that really hits me like King Crimson, but that's strong. Not an imitation, but like a new voice that's strong like King Crimson comes through on this. So that's two shout outs to discus music, but this is the one I want you to know about. Excuse me, Cecilia Brochet, 3D at Paris. Wonderful. It even progressive rock, prog rock. There's some things that kind of remind me of Hatfield and the North. I also like the fact that there's several short pieces on here where it's like similar to what I do, or also like haiku, where it's like you get in there, you make the statement, you do what you're going to do, and you're done. It's really good. It's really good. I'll show some more records, but right quick I want to share some more personal stuff, if y'all don't mind. Not a rant. This is more about stuff that I've done. So this T-shirt I have on, it might be kind of hard to see the design. The words say church, not the band church. It just says church. What I'm wearing here is a custom designed T-shirt that was made for a movie that I did. I've done movie work. That's what I'm going to share with you, is the movies that I've worked on, before I show some more records. I got to work on, okay, so let me do it in order. So through being in the band Lovely Still with filmmaker and artist Nick Fackler, I ended up working on his first feature film, Lovely Still, with Martin Landau and Ellen Burstyn. It's either 2007, I think this came out in 2007, 2010. We actually filmed it, I think, late 2007 or 2008. This was my first experience in filmmaking. And I was hired not to do the music, but to work as a wardrobe assistant. Help with the wardrobe. Now what happened is that, and I don't mind saying this, my ex-boss on there will probably get mad if she sees this, but I'm not saying your name, I'm telling the truth though. We were working on the movie, and the main costumier or wardrobe person was really getting on Ellen Burstyn's nerves. Just a little too. I can't even put the words in, but the woman was. I could see that it was a problem. And one day on set, Ellen Burstyn just blew up and said, "Get that so and so off of this set. I don't want to see her again. From here out, I will only work with Dereck." Now, when that happened, I was kind of like freaked because I'm just a wardrobe assistant. I'm learning on the job. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh shit. But what was amazing is that Ellen Burstyn and Martin Landau, both Academy Award winning actors, I'm just a grunt. They took the time to personally help me and show me things about wardrobe and quick fixes and things on set and on breaks. It was amazing. Both Ellen and Martin, because I'm the head of wardrobe, I had to spend a lot of time with them. And it became friendly, especially with Martin. He loves jazz. But this was the first film that I worked on, and I'm in it. You don't see my face, but there's a scene where I'm in the scene, but you don't see my face. But this was quite an experience. I learned a lot. It's hard work. But as a result of this movie and the work that I did, word got out and I got hired to do the entire wardrobe for this movie, April Showers. This movie is about Columbine 420, when the kids went on the rampage. This T-shirt is from this movie. It's custom made for the movie. There are no other copies of this T-shirt except for the couple that I have. They made these specifically for the protagonist boys who were friends of the shooters in the Colorado shooting, for them to wear in the movie. And I was head of wardrobe, so when the movie was over, I found out what happens with wardrobe. You're stuck with it, except sometimes certain items. But I got into it with a garage full of clothes and shoes until I figured out what to do with them. But Spy Kids, the red-headed kid, Daryl Sabara from Spy Kids, he's one of the main actors here. Kelly Blatz, who was on Disney. This was I learned a lot about the industry. Business really does suck. It's very selfish and inhuman. I worked with several Disney actors on there. Janelle Parrish, who was in the movie Bratz, was in this. She and I bonded. But this is from the movie. If you see this movie, when you can get this on all the major platforms. It's not bad, not a bad movie at all. But the entire look of the movie, everything everyone is wearing, came through me. The main actors, I designed what they're wearing, and all the extras I had to approve of what they wore. It was a very interesting process. I learned a lot. Andrew Robinson, who is the director and writer of this film, was at Columbine. So it's not a documentary. It's not quite a true story, but it's based on Columbine. And really what it's about, spoiler, because many of you probably won't see it, it's really about how the media attempted to manipulate the families to get a particular slant on the story. Some of you folks may remember this actually did go down in real life, where there was protest about how Columbine people were being traumatized by the news media, desperate for the story. That was quite an interesting experience. I did some more movies, just a few. I want to show them. Another movie I did, The Scientist. You might be able to find this one. This one was an ordeal. The main actor, Bill Sage, has been in a few other movies of note. Oh, I can't remember it, but it's like he plays a pedophile coach in a movie, and it's really a rather unsavory role that he took on, rather brave. This was interesting too because again I was hired as assistant to the costumier, who was someone they hired out of Colorado, who actually designed and made clothes for the movie. But he got fed up with the director and refused to come on set after a while. So I had to, very interesting work. So I ended up with the first assistant director, working with him to get scenes because the main wardrobe guy wouldn't show up. And then it got to a point where the actor was mad with the main director because the director, Toby, what's his name? Zach LeBeau, his directions were real flowery and cosmic, and it was like, I was there several times when Bill would just say, "Would you just tell me what you want from me? I don't get this bullshit." And he said it several times. "I don't get this bullshit." And it just broke down because Toby didn't come around. He just started walking off set, and it left it to the rest of us to get the scenes. Very interesting work. And then I've talked a lot about Flyover, the album Flyover. It's based on the music that I wrote for this movie, Flyover Country. Small budget, independent film, gay oriented. The theme is gay oriented. Not too bad. It's not really it's not bad. Jim, I know you're seeing this, so you're seeing what I'm. Thank you for the opportunity to do this, Jim. This is okay. I think this is better than Life After X. I did 2 movies soundtracks for Jim Fields. First, this. I'm happy with my work. And Jim worked hard on these movies, but he had a super limited budget. In my opinion, this one, Flyover Country, came out better than Life After X. I'm in this movie, though. You see me in a scene, and I do all the music for this. Thank you again, Jim, for the opportunity. Fantastic. Real learning experiences. And in one more movie that I'm not in, but I'm part of the extras of this movie by my friend Nick Fackler. Sick Birds Die Easy. And this is the film that he made about the ayahuasca, about the ayahuasca psychedelic drug, and how they actually went to Africa. I could have gone, and I'm glad I didn't. One of the guys got real sick. But on the extras of this, they do a whole remix of the movie soundtrack, psychedelic, as though you're on ayahuasca, and I helped to create that. So that's another one that I'm a part of. Love sharing that stuff with you folks. Kind of in a way of showing more of why I'm a local celebrity, and I'll just say it because I am. Okay, so some records. Well, we've lost more people. Some you know about, some you don't know. Tristan Hansinger, I believe, is the name of a free jazz musician who, see, I don't have anything with him on him. I know about him. I checked my discography. He's played with people that I respect, but I don't have anything on him. He passed away recently. Turkish giant, Erkin Koray. Anatolian music, I think, is the term they use for what they say he is, like the vanguard keeper and person who really turned the world on to Anatolian music. He's fantastic. Erkin Koray. This is electronic Turkular. The only thing I have on vinyl by him. I'm always looking for his records in the shops. This is excellent. It's that mix of that folk music with Western instruments and rock colorations. He was in his 80s, just passed away a couple days ago. Dereck, fantastic album, fantastic. What else is sitting down here? Yesterday was a laid-back day. All I did was practice for my upcoming show at Pet Fest and played records. So I gave this a good listen. It's been a long time since I've really listened closely to Porcupine Trees, The Sky Moves Sideways. This is very good. This is, to me, Steven Wilson really starting to put together of his musical vision, because the early stuff is just like a bit of this, a bit of that. But this is where it's like a musical vision is really starting to coalesce. I love that cover, and it fits the music. It soars. It soars. It's wonderful. Great Dutch band, Super Sister, Robert Jan Stips, to the highest bidder. Had to play this all the way through. Very much influenced by Soft Machine. And musically, just fantastic. Progressive. This is the epitome of what I consider progressive rock. Hadn't played this in years, and was watching Peter Jenner, I think is his name, who was Pink Floyd's original manager. Watched a long interview with him online, and it prompted me to put this on because he talked a lot about this album. Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. Now, when this first came out, somehow I ended up with a white label promo of it, but I was still, it was 1975, so I was just out of high school, and even though I was collecting records, my record collecting sensibilities weren't completely together, and so somewhere along the way I got rid of it, which now would be worth money, big deal, but still I had one. But I really like this album. Have a Cigar with Roy Harper on vocals. And they talk about how this is kind of an elegy to Syd Barrett. Good album. Played some more old records yesterday. I do that sometimes. It's just like I got these records, and it's like sometimes it's time to just go and rediscover. And that's what happened here with this band. The Hooked. This comes 1968. This was at the heyday of bands crossing over into trying to capitalize on psychedelia. So what I'm saying is that this is actually a soul band that made the transition. They sound a lot like Vanilla Fudge. Vanilla Fudge were monster musicians, so these guys aren't that good, but you can hear that that's what they're going after. There's a lot of organ, slightly histrionic vocals, like you're really over-emoting. It's pretty good, though. Pussy Plays. This is a reissue. Another one of those records that, if you can get an original, you're going to pay. This is pretty good, though. Excuse me. Cool color. It's hard rock. That's the right term for the time. This is still the 60s. It's hard rock with the band trying out other styles and pushing their limits. So it's kind of proggy, but it's really good. Two more. Hard Stuff, Bolex Dementia. The English cover is just as interesting as this U.S. cover. This is a band that was put together by John Can. He was in Atomic Rooster. Good guitar player. I like his voice too. So it's not boogie rock. It's just to the left of that. Rock's pretty hard, but there's a variety to it. But John Kahn is also in this band, Andromeda. I probably like this one even better. This one's pretty psychedelic. Another reissue, but both these albums I highly recommend. And if you get lucky enough to find an original, wow is what I say. So there you have it, folks. Just to let you know, I speak what's on my mind. I'm not always going to talk about the news. My concern is justice, though. And I will say again that I do not play that stupid name game. I do not self-identify as a liberal or conservative. Both connotate stupidity and looking with a filter and not trying to be objective. I'm trying to see life objectively, which means I don't identify as liberal or conservative. I identify as a concerned human being. Is that what conservatives call liberals? People who really care? Because that's in essence why I keep being labeled a liberal, is because I care about things. All I can say is, if liberal means that you actually care, well, conservative, well, that's obviously bad. If you're not a it means you don't care, and it sure shows by conservative actions. Those are my concerns: is justice, not this word salad bullshit. Last thing I'll say, because I'm not muzzling myself for nobody. Don't give a fuck. It's on my Facebook page today. Racist thought and racism is completely dysfunctional. We all lose because of it. The other thing I said about racism is that racism is a problem that we can solve, but we won't. Talk to me, people. Take care now.